Donald Trump just killed his own economic D-Day. Donald Trump and Treasury Secretary Bessent talking a tough game. They're saying they are going to issue massive tariffs against any country that works with Iran. Well, China said, we do, and we're proud of it, and we're not going to change what we do. So what do you want to say about that, Donald? And then Donald Trump held a press conference moments ago, and Donald Trump's like, I love Xi Jinping, and I think he's got the greatest ballroom ever, and I want our ballroom here to look like Xi Jinping's ballroom. This, as Treasury Secretary Bessent was asked, hey, so you said you're going to do economic D-Day. You know, in real D-Day, the beaches were stormed that day and people didn't say, hey, D-Day's coming, it's Normandy, here are the beaches where we're going. What say you, Bessent? And Bessent's like, why would we do that right away? We need to see what other countries are going to say because we don't want to just blow up the world financial market by doing economic D-Day. So who are you going to pick? Iran or the United States is what Bessent said. So you have the foreign ministry spokesperson of China issue the following statement. China calls for reason and restraint on the Iran situation, no action that could further escalate the conflict or deal another blow to global growth and financial stability. A political solution is the only right way forward. China will closely watch the development and do what is necessary to protect its legitimate right and interests. And I think what's also being hinted out there, hey, Donald, you excited about Xi Jinping showing up in the next few weeks to the White House? Well, we may cancel that visit and we may take other actions. Remember what we did the first time you tried to sanction China and we started cutting off the rare earths and you immediately went down on your knees, Donald, like the dog you are, and you bowed to Xi Jinping? You remember when that happened? Yeah, we may do that again, Donald. China opposes unilateral sanctions that lack basis in international law and UN Security Council mandate. Military force and pressure tactics will only lead to escalation that serves no one's interest. We call on the parties to act responsibly and solve disputes through dialogue and negotiations. And Iran's parliament leader, MB Ghalibaf, said, we've spoken with our allies like China and others, and they've confirmed that nobody takes the United States seriously anymore, and nobody's going along with economic D-Day that Donald Trump and Bessent are threatening. So Donald Trump holds a press conference outside of the White House a little bit ago, and Trump's like, I was in China a few months ago, and we saw how amazing their ballroom is. And I'm like, we need that here. Here, play this clip.
Bad and dangerous. And as you know, over there, we're building a military complex and a ballroom that will be second to none anywhere in the world. We have President Xi coming in 2 weeks, and I was over in China 2 months ago, and we saw the Great Hall of China. Well, now we're going to have a Great Hall, too, in the United States. So it's very important, very, very important.
He goes on in this deranged rant and says, everybody here, you want to follow me? Did I tell you that I'm building a military complex, drone port / ballroom? You want to see it? Hey, I see children. Hey, little children. You want to see it, little kids? Dude, you are a sexual predator. Keep kids away from this guy. This guy's covering up child sex trafficking. Why are there little kids around him? Why does he want to bring the kids to his ball? This is disgusting. This is disgusting. Here, play this clip right here.
Well, thank you very much. Now, I don't know if anybody wants to do this, but I'm going to be walking down here in about 2 minutes to meet with the people that are building the heliport. And you'll see right alongside of it the great structure that's rising right next to the White House, and that's going to be the ballroom / military complex. It's incredible. Now, if anybody would like to walk with me, I don't know if Linda's going to have any big events happening now. I don't think so. But if you'd like to follow me, especially with the kids could see construction. I love the sound of construction. When I hear all that banging out there, some people say, oh, that's too bad. And I say, I love it. You know, so if anybody would like to follow me, it'll be a large group, but it's a large pad, and you'll be able to see some very hard-working people. They're working hard, and they're making a lot of money, and they're doing something great for America. And they've needed a heliport for many years here, and We're getting it all done. We're doing all the things that should have been done for years. So if you want to follow me with the children, I think it'll be very interesting. You'll bring your nice family, okay?
And then Donald Trump's like, and I want to remind everybody that we have brought in trillions of dollars in the first 12 months alone. You know, he's so demented that he keeps on talking about the first 12 months. You know, we're almost in year 2 right now, and he's come up with his fraud number, 19.1 trillion. In 12 months, we brought in 19.1 trillion, and Biden only brought in 1 trillion. I don't know, maybe because Biden actually told the truth about what the numbers were, and you just make up fake numbers. If we brought in $19.1 trillion, then why are we in an economic crisis right now? Why are the treasury yields so high? Why has the debt hit $40 trillion? Why is the deficit expanding? If you've brought in all of this money, where is it? Did you steal it? Did you take, or are you lying? Or maybe a little bit of both? Here, play this clip.
Hate America. There's a lot of love going on right now. Our country's never done this well. We have billions and billions of different things happening, money pouring in at the rate of not even billions, trillions, over $19 trillion being invested in America right now. The last administration had less than 1 trillion in 4 years. We had 19, more than 19, 19.2 to be exact. And that's over a period of 12 months. We haven't even included the additional 5 months. So there's never been anything like that in history.
Right. It was like when Treasury Secretary Bessent a little bit earlier was asked, you know, you said this is economic D-Day, so why are you announcing it though? Wouldn't you just want like shock and awe D-Day? To which Bessent is like, well, we don't want to blow up the global financial system. So you're admitting if you go through with economic D-Day and the countries don't go along with you, which they're not going to because they now view the United States as isolated, weak, pathetic, can't be trusted. It's like a Trump casino. It's Loserville here in the United States now. It's shameful here as a result of this disgusting regime. So you're saying then you blow up the global financial system because you're a bunch of pathetic, petulant little babies? Yeah. Here, play this clip.
Let's see. You in the front.
You described this as an economic D-Day, but D-Day wasn't a threat of an invasion, and the U.S. didn't give a timeline to Germany. So why not impose the sanctions today?
Well, we are giving everyone the opportunity to remedy bad behavior. Why would I want to blow up the global financial system? We believe that it is important to level set and give people a cure period, but they should know that will move very quickly and that we are serious. Secondary sanctions are a very powerful tool, and we here at Treasury, this is Gene Lang, the acting undersecretary for terrorism finance, and in the terrorism finance department and at OFAC, the reason we are able to use secondary sanctions is because we do not take their use lightly. So we believe that a warning shot and a level set of expectations is appropriate. And if people do not want to meet our expectations, then we expect, and they should expect, that they will leave the dollar system. Okay? Thank you all.
By the way, it's why I wanted you all to watch the video I did earlier this morning. Maybe it was a little bit boring, but sometimes you got to do deep dive, boring stuff where I gave you Treasury Secretary Bessent's background. Go and watch that video because he's been a lifelong loser. He couldn't run his own fund. He had a $5 billion fund. He lost most of the money. Most of the money was withdrawn, redemptions. So it was like, only like $500 million. Not that that's a little bit of money, but he was making a killing. But he was never viewed as a good trader. He was never good. He acts like he's this macro economics genius. He's an idiot is what he is. And when I shared with you that bizarre op-ed he wrote in the Financial Times, Blaise Pascal's wager, and he compared himself, I assume, to God, and the way Pascal's wager is, you should infinitely believe in God because you get infinite rewards. That's a pretty sick thing that is why he's saying that countries should trust the United States or him because they're God. I mean, how sick are you? Meanwhile, senior Iranian sources are telling Tasneem, look, the U.S. has already done everything it could against the Iranian people, from primary to secondary sanctions to a naval blockade and more. Trump's economic pressure plan, coinciding with the reopening of financial markets and the presence of a Pakistani mediator in Iran, is another repeated example of Trump's media and psychological operations, and nothing new is expected to happen on the ground. Although I would say this, calling it a psychological operation probably gives Trump too much credit. He's a psycho. It's a psycho operation. He's an ill, psycho, demented, malignant, narcissistic, sexual predator, deviant, bankrupt, or loser who just relentlessly loses and wants to smother you with the loss. That's his whole life. He's a freaking predator. And then while you have this taking place, you had Hegseth holding a press conference where Hegseth, I kid you not, says, we need to get our military back to the basics. So no more trannies, just training. No more trannies, everybody. Hoorah! Dude, what are you even saying? Do you listen to the words that come out of your mouth, or do you want to inject yourself with more testosterone and give yourself more whatever hormone therapy or whatever the hell that you're doing there, Hegseth? And at the same time, that language, back to the basics, is what they've used and justified to destroy the cutting-edge drone program of former Army Chief of Staff Randy George. Because you got to go back to the basics, everybody. No trannies, just training is what Hegseth says. No drones either. That's too woke. Too woke. We just got to be back to, that inject yourself with testosterone ethos. These people are such pathetic losers, and the whole world knows it. And it pains me, and it's shameful to see my country led by loser lunatics. But that's what we've become. Let's just call it what it is. Let's play it.
Where we're restoring the warrior ethos, and that means a focus, an unrelenting, uncompromising focus on lethality. It means no more DEI. It means no more trannies, just training. It means colorblind, gender neutral, merit-based, back to basics across the board, no matter if you're carrying a rifle or you're working on the plant floor.
Then you've got Netanyahu complimenting the loser lunatic regime here in the United States. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, congratulations, Donald Trump and Besant, on the latest sanctions against the Iranian regime. You justly exact a steep price from the cruel dictatorship and from those who assist continued aggression. Give Israel more money to Netanyahu to commit genocide and to slaughter people in Lebanon with American taxpayer dollars. I mean, it's just so sickening right there to see that. Did you see Ben Gvir, the statements I showed you? He was like, it's excellent that we should kill 40 to 50 people in Gaza every night or more just to make a point. And Gvir's like, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. His national security advisor. I mean, this Netanyahu regime is freaking sickening right here. And then finally, you had J.D. Vance saying, the reason we need to go after Canada is, you see, Canada's allied with China. And Canada and China, they've teamed up to screw us. I mean, are y'all always the victim? Like, do you realize that in the past, Canada did everything for the United States when the U.S. would attack China and say all of these things? Canada was by the U.S. side. And now, as you've attacked Canada, and the Canadian people are like, yeah, actually, China's a more reliable partner than you, the United States. So don't drag us into your China stuff. Maybe we want the EVs from China if they help our manufacturing base here in Canada. See you later, U.S. Here's what Vance had to say. Play this clip.
Here's what happened with the most recent round of negotiations. They're still ongoing, and I want to be respectful of the process. But we know that Canada allows itself to be used as a backdoor for Chinese goods. They treat Chinese goods more fairly than they do the goods that come from the people of Maine. It's insanity. And what we've said to Canada is stop it. Apply a basic principle of fairness to the trade that you're doing between North Dakota and Canada, between Maine and Canada. And what happened at the very end is they came in with a bunch of unreasonable last-minute demands. I frankly thought we had a deal. I think that we should have a deal but I think that we need to send a message loud and clear to the Prime Minister of Canada. Stop taking advantage of the people of Maine. Stop taking advantage of America. It's over. We expect fairness in our trade policy.
And then finally, you want to talk about Donald Trump capitulating to China. U.S. South Korea just had to recently cancel its amphibious exercises because we're out of troops. The Iran war has destroyed our U.S. troop readiness. So not only did Donald Trump have to basically shut down the training exercises with South Korea to appease Kim Jong-un, but Donald Trump also canceled the amphibious exercise with South Korea because the United States does not have a military that's ready to do drills. But what else would you expect? Hegseth's a loser. Hegseth bankrupted, he mismanaged the veterans nonprofit that he was a part of. And there were all these allegations against him. Trump bankrupted everything. I'm not making a political point, folks. I'm just talking about winners and losers. Winners don't go around saying, I'm a winner, I'm a deal maker, I do deals. That's what losers do. And Trump, Hegseth, the ultimate losers. And you're seeing the loser behavior and the world knows it. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Appreciate you. Let's get to 7 million subscribers, y'all.
Before you go, our book, WTF America, is available for pre-order now. It's the story of how we got here and how we fight our way back. To pre-order, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Let's do this.